Okay.
Hi. Oh, hello.
Hey, this is my friend Dean, Eric speaking. We're going to run a quick demo of what you see here in the back, these OLPC devices connected to a Windows MultiPoint session. So, all yours.
All right. So let's start by looking over here. This is Windows MultiPoint Server 2011, the version that just went to beta last week. I have 4 traditional MultiPoint clients directly connected to this machine. So I've got an HP box down here. On the back of it, I've got 2 video cards, each with like 2 video outs, and I've got 4 USB hubs, and they basically go to these 4 stations here. So I've got 4 traditional MultiPoint stations, and you can see kind of if we log in here, I'm logged in as a username Pankaj over here, and he's browsing the web. And over in this station here, I've got a different username, Sean, logged in. You know, he's doing his thing. I have a 3rd user logged in on the lower left, and I'm logged in as the teacher here on the right. So one of the things that we have here in MultiPoint 2011 that we didn't have in MultiPoint 2010 is the ability for the teacher to interact with thumbnails of the desktops for each of the students in the classroom. So she can kind of double click here and take a look and see what's going on at each one of the individual sessions. And she can kind of click around and see what's going on and engage. And she can even do things like block the station if she sees somebody doing that. If she sees somebody taking an activity that she doesn't want that particular person taking.
Perfect.
So it's one of the new features we have in MultiPoint 2011. There are some other ones. Okay, but the question is, how do you take advantage of some of the existing hardware that you might already have in your infrastructure and not necessarily want to be stringing together brand new stations all the time, right? So in MultiPoint 2011, we also support the ability to reuse old hardware and repurpose it into a MultiPoint station simply just through using remote desktop. So the other thing I have here in my office is these 2 OLPCs, the X01s. One of these is running Windows XP, and kind of zoom in there and maybe you can see that it's Windows XP.
Yep.
The
Windows
other
XP
one,
built specially for this one.
yeah, and the other one is running Sugar, which is the Linux distro. And I have both of these. These came with built-in wireless, and I have them connected to a little router down here that is the same network that my MultiPoint server plugs into. So I have connectivity between my OLPCs and my MultiPoint server. They're on the same network.
Perfect.
So let's try it with the XP machine first. Because MultiPoint Server is really just built on top of remote desktop services, the built-in client into XP for remote desktop connections just works to connect to a MultiPoint server and turn it into a session. I pre-created a connection file, this one called multipoint.rdp, that basically knows the name of the server, set up a few of the settings like the color depth, and automatically connects me there. So I'll just double click on that connection file, and it's going to go and negotiate across my little wireless router here, and it's going to find my MultiPoint server here in a matter of moments.
Perfecto. And there we go.
And when it does that, I just got to click on my username to log in. I had a user there created named Srini. And I've logged in, and here I go. I'm now using a Windows 7 session right here over my Windows MultiPoint session right here directly from this OLPC.
That's awesome.
Awesome. And let's take a look back here at the MultiPoint Manager console as the teacher. And you can see
the new device shows up.
The new device shows up, Srini, and I double click on that, and here I'm looking at Srini's session.
Perfect.
And I can even do the thing I did before when I clicked on block station.
Going back to
and if you go back and you take a look at the station over here, this session is blocked, and the user can't do anything there, and you keep the screen on there, and I'll click unblock from my side. And when I click unblock,
there you go, live.
It comes back. Okay, so that's all Windows technology. We would expect that to work pretty well. Let's take a look at the same thing on Sugar. So, remote desktop is a protocol that has clients that span beyond just the Windows operating system. There are remote desktop clients that run on Linux. There are remote desktop clients that run on Apple software. I've done this same demo with an iPad and turned an iPad into a MultiPoint client.
Perfect.
But what you can do on the Sugar thing, and I just kind of strung this together, I didn't try to make it pretty, is I can just start the terminal, which is just the equivalent of the command prompt here for Linux. And there is an inbuilt tool for these distros of Linux called rdesktop. And I can rdesktop back to that same machine, and I put a couple parameters in here. I put in -F for full screen, and then -X is experience, and L is the LAN experience, and that'll give me a good Windows experience over this connection. And I click enter, and just as easily it connects right back to that multi-point system. And let's just click here and log in with another user. So I logged in with Srini over there. Let's log in with James. Srini is the test manager for multi-point, and James is the GPM. So I'll log in with James, and here we are. I'm using again the rich Windows experience right here from this OLPC that was running Sugar, just by remotely turning it into a multi-point station. And we even got some things going on here. Why don't you talk about? We were trying this before we started the video. Why don't you talk about what we're doing here with this Windows Live thing?
Yeah, perfect. So here we logged into a regular Windows Live account. You can see it up here. And basically what we're looking at is Office Live, running off an X01 through a Windows multi-point server session. And so if you launch any document, you're seeing how it loads off Word, basically, and here we have a Word document. Okay. And you have your regular storage, etc., etc., etc.
Yep.
All that comes with Windows Live.
Yep, and again, if we go back over here to my teacher station, and I'm the teacher, that session, even though it's running on an OLPC running Linux, we can still pick that up. So that session is still running here for the teacher, and if the teacher, for example, wants to block this session as an example, we can do that. And if you go back over and look at the machine, it'll be locked. So
perfect, full control, both on a XP XO and on a very standard Sugar XO, both of them XO1s. Awesome.
Great.
Thank you so much. This is really awesome.
Thanks very much. I appreciate the opportunity.